The ocean has always been a place where reality and myth collide. A world so deep, so dark, and so unexplored that anything seems possible. Sailors spoke of creatures that rose from the deep like living nightmares, beasts that could swallow ships whole, shadows that slid beneath the waves and vanished before anyone could speak a word. Some of these legends sound impossible, until you realize that many were rooted in encounters with very real animals. Today we're diving into 6 sea monsters whose terrifying myths were shaped by real creatures, beginning with the monster that haunted the North Atlantic for centuries. For anyone who sailed the northern seas, one story was told more than any other. A shape so huge that men mistook it for an island, a dark mass rising from the water, big enough to block out the sun. This was the Kraken. In the Norse sagas, the Kraken was described as a monstrous island-sized being, part squid, part octopus, entirely nightmare. Some stories claimed that sailors tied their anchors to its back, believing it was land, only to watch the island sink and move. Later tales became even darker, warning that when it surfaced, it created whirlpools so powerful they could drag entire fleets to the bottom. To anyone navigating the coasts of Norway or Greenland, this wasn't just a story. It was a warning. Spotting the Kraken meant death was close. But behind all that chilling folklore lies a truth even stranger. What sailors were most likely seeing was a creature so rarely observed alive that it might as well be a myth itself. The giant squid. These deep-sea giants can stretch up to 43 feet long, with tentacles powerful enough to scar whales. In rough seas, even a brief glimpse of one, a thrashing tentacle, a pale body rising and sinking, a dying squid blasting water, could easily inspire myths of a monster too big to comprehend. And when carcasses began washing ashore, or whales surfaced covered in suction scars, the legend only grew. Some argue the colossal squid. Even larger ash was involved. But those creatures live far south near Antarctica, not in the northern waters where the Kraken was born. Could there be an unknown species behind the earliest legends? Maybe, but the truth is already terrifying. A creature few have ever seen alive, powerful enough to inspire the greatest sea monster in history. But while the North had the Kraken, Mexico had something arguably even more unsettling, a creature fishermen still talk about today. A massive black monster that dwarfs even the great white shark, El Demonio Negro, the black demon of Baja. Generations of fishermen in the Sea of Cortez describe an enormous black shark striking boats, following whales, and gliding through the water like a living shadow. Many swear it's 40 to 50 feet long, far bigger than any great white. The obvious explanation would be a whale shark, but these men grew up on these waters. They know whale sharks. They insisted this creature was different, more aggressive, more shark-like, and with a mouth wide enough to swallow a small boat. So what were they actually seeing? After studying the sightings, patterns, and descriptions, one possibility fits eerily well: the basking shark. While gentle giants, basking sharks have massive gaping mouths, ashy dark skin, and a shape that looks shockingly similar to a gigantic great white. They can reach lengths over 40 feet, and though rare in the Sea of Cortez, occasional wanderers do make their way inside. Imagine spotting one in murky, low light, its mouth wide open, its grey skin appearing black, its size enormous. To a fisherman, that would feel like a demon rising from the deep. So yes, Mexico's black demon shark is real. It's just not a killer at all, but a gentle 50,000-pound filter feeder misunderstood by every terrified pair of eyes that ever saw it. But Japan's oceans hold something stranger still, a creature said to strike ships with a tail full of barbs. Not Godzilla, something older, something more feared by coastal fishermen, the Issei. In Japanese folklore from the 1800s, the Issei was described as a colossal sea predator that never showed its body, only its enormous tail covered in sharp barbs. Fishermen claimed the tail could capsize boats or drag men into the surf. When strange winds blew and the sea turned unnatural colors, they believed the Issei was near. What's fascinating is that Japanese waters are home to nearly a third of the world's shark species, and among them is one shark that fits this legend perfectly: the pelagic thresher shark. With a tail nearly as long as its body, sometimes 6 feet long, a fisherman could easily see just that tail thrashing above the surface and assume a monster lurked below. Thresher sharks use their enormous tails as whips to stun schools of fish, and in a storm or rough sea, even a glimpse of that weapon could lead to generations of terrifying stories. But if you think a barbed tail is scary, wait until we travel to Colombia, to a remote island surrounded by stories of a pitch-black giant known as El Monstro. Malpelo Island is a shark paradise. divers see hammerheads by the hundreds, silky sharks, Galapagos sharks, even whale sharks. But in the deep shadows, some claim that another creature lurks, a nearly 20-foot jet-black shark with ragged teeth and an aggressive, unnatural swimming pattern. A marine biologist once reported seeing a massive, unknown shark during a dive, an encounter that shook her enough to launch a full investigation the next year. Storms stopped that expedition, but the legend never stopped growing. So what was this monster? Perhaps the rarest candidate is the big sand tiger shark, a creature so seldom seen that fewer than 10 specimens have ever been documented. One was photographed alive, one dead on a Korean beach. This species is deep sea, jet black, and massive, almost exactly matching the Malpelo descriptions. And Malpelo's deep canyons are the perfect place for such a ghost-like creature to appear. Whether divers saw a small-toothed sand tiger or the incredibly rare big sand tiger, one thing is clear: the real animal was frightening enough to create a legend all on its own. But Japan has yet another sea monster in its folklore. Not a shark this time, but something much stranger, a shark person known as the Samobito. Unlike Western mermaids, the Samobito was depicted as a dark, humanoid shark-like creature with glowing green eyes, a dragon-like beard, and a monstrous face. It supposedly weaved magical sea silk underwater and cried tears that fell as pearls. That sounds impossible, until you meet the Japanese Wobbegong. This bizarre bottom-dwelling carpet shark has dangling tassels resembling a beard, lightning-fast jaws, and camouflage so perfect it seems to appear out of nowhere. Seen at night, with moonlight reflecting off its eyes, it would look eerily human, or at least human enough to form the basis of one of Japan's strangest myths. And finally, we return to the waters of Japan for one of the eeriest legends of all, the shadow-stealing Kagawani. This creature was said to lurk just beneath the surface, waiting for fishermen to lean over the edge of their boats. Instead of pulling the person, it swallowed the shadow, and the man vanished with it. Villagers blamed it for mysterious disappearances along the rugged coasts. The real creature behind this myth is likely the megamouth shark, a massive, dark, and extremely rare filter feeder that can reach over 20 feet in length. Almost no one in history had ever seen one until the 1970s. Imagine staring into the water centuries ago and glimpsing a huge open mouth rising from the dark. You'd have no idea what you were seeing, only that it was enormous, silent, and horrifying. And while it probably never swallowed anyone's shadow, one thing is certain: it is exactly the kind of strange, deep-sea giant that would inspire a story that refuses to die. Across the world, sea monsters were born because the ocean hides creatures stranger than any legend. Every tale started with someone seeing something real, something breathtaking, enormous, or terrifying, and then the story just grew. Because when sailors saw these animals rise from the deep, even for a moment, it was enough to turn reality into myth. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. See you next time.